Why is the t-distribution wider than a normal distribution? The t-distribution is wider because of the extra variability that comes from using the same sample variability. Although the t-distribution is always flatter than the normal distribution, the t-distribution is flattest when blank. The n of each sample is small. For which of these cases will the t-distribution have the least area in the tails? When n equals 30. Which thing is not required to look up a t-critical on the t-table? Test value. A one-sample t-test is conducted and the APA summary is t200 equals 1.02, p greater than 0.05. The Cohen's d was 0.12. How would you describe the outcome of this hypothesis test? Failed to reject H0 mainly because of the small effect size. An independent measure study is analyzed using the appropriate t-test and the APA summary is t30 equals 2.45, p less than 0.05, d equals 0.72. If the two samples were equal in size, n1 equals n2. How many people were in each sample? 16 people. What is assumed by the homogeneity equality of variance assumption on an independent measures t-test? The two populations have equal variances. Which of the following accurately describes what a related samples t-test does? Uses a sample MD to draw a conclusion about a population D. If an independent measures design is being used to compare two treatment conditions, then how many different groups of participants would be needed and how many scores would there be for each participant? 2 groups, 1 score each. A research study produces AT statistics with DF equals 14. For the study, which of the following designs would require a total of 30 participants? A matched subjects design. Which one is not an advantage of using a repeated measures design for your study? It eliminates practice effects and order effects. For which of the following situations would using a repeated measures study design possible? Comparing pain tolerance with and without acupuncture needles. A researcher plans to conduct a research study comparing two treatment conditions with a total of 20 participants. Which of the following designs would produce 20 scores in each treatment? A repeated measures design. Which of these experiments will have the greatest power? Experiment with sample size of n equals 40 and Cohen's d equals 1.0. Which t-test involves a test value that is for the general population? One sample t-test. Which of the following describes what a confidence interval does? The primary use of a confidence interval. It uses a sample mean to estimate the corresponding population mean. Which change would definitely increase the width of a confidence interval? Increase the level of confidence. All of the following confidence intervals correspond to two-tailed independent measures t-test. Which of them corresponds to a two-tailed independent measures t-test that reject H0 using equals 0.05? Estimate that 1 equals 2 is in an interval between 2 and 10 with 95% confidence. A matched subject study is analyzed with the related samples t-test but requires the same number of study participants as an independent measures study. True. In a repeated measure study, the null hypothesis says that the mean for the sample of different scores is equal to 0. False. A research study compares the mean weight for a sample of n equals 36 participants before they begin a 6-week diet and their mean weight at the end of the diet. This is an example of an independent measure design. False. For an independent measure study, the width of a confidence interval estimating 1 to 2 depends on the size of the difference between M1 and M2. False. The data from a matched subject study is analyzed using the appropriate t-test and the APA summary is t15 equals 3.201, p less than 0.01, d equals 11. This says that the t-critical for this test was plus minus 3.201 and the number of different scores, n, was 16. False. The sample mean will always be exactly in the center of a confidence interval that is estimating the value of the population mean. True. The 95% confidence interval for the difference between two independent sample means M1 and M2 extends from -2.50 to +5.50. Based on this information, you should conclude that there is no significant difference between the treatments at the 0.05 level of significance. True.